Hi everyone, welcome to Ink and Bourbon. I'm Patrick Leclerc, and today we're going to talk about a facet of writing and being an author that nobody wants to deal with. And no, it's not outlining, it's not marketing, it's not coming up with an elevator pitch, it's dealing with a bad review. So, bad reviews are going to happen. Anytime you put your work out there, we want reviews. Reviews and word of mouth are one of the best things that we have to spread awareness of our work. And ideally, you want them to be good reviews. But if you open that up, some of them are going to be bad. There's no real way to avoid it. The best authors out there get a few bad reviews. It's not for everybody. No book is going to make everybody happy. And now that we're in such an interconnected world with social media where anybody can read your book and can post anything they want about it, some of them are going to be bad. So you got to learn to deal with it. And one of the ways that's helped me to deal with it is I think of it as, I like a boxing analogy for it, because that really makes sense on a lot of levels. So if you learn to box, you've got to learn, how to throw a punch, and you've got to learn footwork, and you've got to learn how to block and how to dodge. And that's like the equivalent of learning your craft as a writer. That's learning how to write dialogue, learning your prose, learning how plot works, how story arc works. That's what's going to make you good at it. But a thing that you are going to have to confront and you have to learn is how to take a punch, because that's going to happen. So first of all, accept that it's the price of admission. You put your stuff out there, you're agreeing, at least tacitly, to a bad review, a possibility of a bad review. So get ready for that. So what happens when we get a bad review? Well, there are three things that you need to do. You need to do one of them. The other two are going to help. And the more of these you can do and the better you can do them, the more it's going to help you down the road. The thing that you absolutely have to do if you want to continue to be an author is take the hit and get back up. Don't let it derail your writing. Maybe you've got it, like I said, maybe it surprises you, rings a bell, it hurts because you poured your heart and soul into this and somebody talked crap about it. So, yeah, it's like being hit. It's like being hit and knocked down. And you've just got to get back up. If you can go write another book afterwards, then you are a writer. And that's the only thing you have to do. If you let it derail you and you can't handle it and it crushes your creative spirit, then you're not going to be able to be an author, which is fine. There's 100 other things you can do that aren't being an author. A lot of them are more fun. A lot of them pay more money. So there's nothing wrong with not being an author. Or you can write as a hobbyist, not read your reviews, just ignore it. But if you expect to put your work out there, they're going to happen. So you don't let it end your writing career. So you've got to get back up. Maybe you shake your head, maybe you spit out a tooth, get back up, get back in. That's step one. And that's really the only thing they have to do. The second part, which is a lot harder, is to maintain your composure. Especially in this day and age where everybody's interconnected on social media, you have to not lash out. You have to take it, understand that that's the agreement. When you got in the ring, you agreed that this other guy's going to try to hit you. So if you put your work up online, you have to agree that other people may say bad things about it. And you can't get that upset about it. No matter how bad the criticism is, no matter how unjustified you feel the criticism is, you're never going to gain anything by arguing with people. If somebody reads a bad review of your work, they may think you're a bad writer. But if they read that bad review and then they see you get really hyper defensive and attack the person who made the review and go on about it, now you're not going to win that fight, because now readers just think you're a bad writer with a thin skin. So you're really not going to win that one. So you need to not react in a bad way. And that's harder now that everything's online, because you read your review, and the temptation to respond right then is going to be there. You need to not do it. If you need to go and swear for a little bit and vent your feelings offline, absolutely do it. You need to go walk away from your computer, punch a wall, okay. But do that offline. Do it away from places where you don't go on Goodreads and yell at people. Don't reply to Amazon and yell at people. Don't report people. It never makes you look good. So either don't reply, or if you can manage it, I reply with a thank you. Say, thank you for taking the time to read my stuff. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it, and leave it there. Be the bigger person. That will go a long way towards helping you in an industry where social media and interconnected personal connections matter for a lot. Word of mouth is going to spread, and you don't want to be that angry guy who can't handle criticism and who gets insulting, gets abusive when you get criticism. You don't want that. You want to be the person who can smile through that split lip, shake hands, and move on. And that's going to go a lot way towards showing that you're professional and showing a level of maturity. So those two things are pretty basic, and you can learn to do that. One is just grit. One is just a little bit of self-control. I spent my whole life as a little guy with a big mouth. So I learned pretty early on I was going to get myself in trouble. I learned to take a punch. With a little bit of effort, I learned to smile through it and move on. But the hardest thing and the most valuable thing is the third thing that you need to do, or you should do. And that's look at that critique, look at that bad review, and ask yourself honestly, is this valid criticism? And are they complaining about something that I did wrong, that I should have done better? Did my intent not land when I wrote that scene, when I wrote that thing they're complaining about? Now, not all criticism is valid. Some people, that book wasn't for them. They think that's a bug. You think it's a feature. It's what you wanted to do. They just didn't like it. And sometimes you can tell, because if you wrote, a snarky first-person detective story and they write back that they hate snarky first-person, well, that doesn't mean you wrote a bad book. It means you wrote a book that they shouldn't have picked up. So those you can kind of ignore. But sometimes they'll hone in on something, and if you read it and the criticism rings true, then you need to do a little self-assessment, and you need to see it's not their fault for pointing it out. It's a you problem for putting it in there wrong. That's like, there's no shame about getting knocked down by a left hook you didn't see coming. But if you want to get better, you got to see what you missed and learn to avoid that the next time. And that's where you're going to gain something from that writing. A couple years back, I was in the self-published Fantasy Blog Off, the fourth annual one in 2018, 2019. And I made it to the finals, and then I got some really bad reviews in the finals. And I stopped and I looked at them. I was very surprised, partly because I'd written a book. It was kind of a niche audience, and within that audience, before the competition, I'd gotten mostly positive reviews. And then when I expanded it into a large fantasy competition, a lot of people pointed out stuff they really didn't like. And I looked at it and I said, you know what? Some of this is valid. Some of this is definitely valid. I created an impression I wasn't trying to create. So I learned from that. I thanked everybody who gave me a terrible review. Thanked them for, thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you for showing me the error of my ways. And I learned from it. And that's how you take that bad review and you harness it and you get something good out of it. So to sum up, the 3 things you need to do: you need to get back up, you need to keep your composure, smile and shake the hand of the person that just knocked you down, and you need to try to learn from it and be better so that next time you won't make that mistake again. So bad reviews are going to happen. It's up to you how you deal with them. And that's all your choice. But you got to make that decision, because right now the ref is counting. So thanks very much. If you enjoyed this kind of content, you enjoy my ramblings, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I try to post content every week, and hopefully we'll see you again. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.